So explain to me again, why is it so windy?
Because of the fans.
Everybody. So, you know, one of the things that having an RV does for you, besides take you to interesting places and, you know, scenic places and camping weekends, and carry your paddle boards and your bikes, it's kind of a vehicle to history. As much as this girl does not like it.
They're all dead. All those people are dead. They didn't do something right. Why learn about them?
Wow.
They died. Like 200 years ago, they're dead. That dog that's sitting with them that's so cute is dead. I don't like that.
You've got issues.
I know. Makes me sad.
So it's another game weekend. We're up here at Stillwater. It's like the 6th game of the season, our 5th home game. You know, we came up a day early because I've been working way too much and I needed a day off. So on that extra day off, we headed up north a little ways to Ponca City, which is the home of the Ponca Indian tribe, not by their choice, which is the case for all the Indians in Oklahoma. They aren't here by choice. But went to the Standing Bear Museum and Education Center, I think is what it's called.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
As far as a museum, and this is the case with most of the Indian museums that we've been to here in Oklahoma, and there are quite a few. Yeah, just not a whole lot there. It was more of an art gallery than it was what I would consider a museum where you can learn stuff. We did learn a little bit about Standing Bear.
And about the other tribes.
And a little bit about the other tribes. I think there were 6 tribes altogether represented at this location. Standing Bear being a Ponca that, you know, they were forced down here from South Dakota and Nebraska. And I mean forced, and with the way the American government treated the Indians was
not like humans.
Yeah, and that was the Standing Bear, you know, thing. His argument at court was, you know, we're human. So anyway, that was our first stop up at Ponca City. It was interesting. I'll let you see a little bit of it. We didn't do a whole lot of talking, or we didn't do any talking on the camera because it is windy season in Oklahoma, and I don't have the wind muff for the new camera yet. It's on its way, so it wouldn't have done any good at all to try to record audio. So anyway, enjoy some of the footage. I'll see you in a minute. Or 2. Or 45 seconds. I don't know. Haven't edited yet. Edited. See ya. Okay, hang up the phone.
There's no phone.
I'm done talking. Hang it up.
There's no phone.
Sleepy?
I just woke up.
You didn't just woke up.
I kind of did. When it's rainy, that makes it even more just.
It is raining. It's awesome. So the Standing Bear Museum and Education Center, the walk around that little park area, it was nice and informative. I mean, I said earlier there's not a whole lot of education in it, and there's not unless you like to read a lot. There's probably like a 100-page novel out there on all those plaques.
Yeah, but sadly the plaques are all scratched up, and some of them are, you can't read at all.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah. And I mean, in the world we live in today, visual is king. So, you know, without...
We're lazy.
Yeah. Too lazy to stop and read. And I mean, just as a society as a whole. So...
Maybe busy. Maybe we're busy.
Yeah, busy folk.
Sounds better than lazy.
So this museum itself is a bit behind the times, and I'm sure 100% of that is lack of funding. But I mean, you go down south to the Chickasaw Cultural Museum, and it's an outstanding museum. They've put a lot of money into it, and it is a very interesting stop. So. So it's not a fair comparison, I suppose. But it is raining today. It's Sunday. It's day to go back. Some poor bloke back here in a pop-up camper is just going to have a really good time folding up in the rain. I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss it so much. I mean, I'm going to have to go outside in the rain and unplug. It's terrible. I've got a rain jacket around here somewhere, I hope.
We are appreciative of our coach after the years of popping down.
But anyway, our next stop after the museum was the 101 Ranch Historical Site.
AKA the Animal Abuse Center of America.
Yeah. The 101 Ranch was a ranch as well as a Wild West show that toured the U.S. Kind of like, what was it, Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show. And apparently it was a pretty well-known show back in the 20s and 30s. Something like that. But not much left of the ranch itself. It was a 110,000 acre ranch here in north central Oklahoma.
Some silos and crumbling base structures,
yeah,
and slabs.
But, yeah.
Cages where bears hibernated and alligators swam.
Yeah. I'll let you watch the video and then we'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. How about that? It's intriguing.
It's sad.
One thing we have come a long way with is the way we treat animals. So, you know, that's a bonus, I guess. We'll catch you right after this short little clip. So yeah, that was the remains of the 101 Ranch. It was actually like a miniature city, you know, with the store, and they actually had connections with Conoco. They drilled oil there on the ranch. Of course, the guy that had Conoco went on to be a billionaire, and guys with the 101 Ranch went on to be dead. But, you know.
That's a long time ago. I think they all went on to be dead.
Yeah, I get technical with me. The 101 Ranch, the Wild West show, ran up until like 1939. Of course, the original guys that did it died there towards the end, and one of them was left, and he couldn't quite handle it by himself, pretty much. But I mean, it's all interesting, the history on the 101 Ranch, but what we found most intriguing.
Intriguing? Is that the word?
I don't know. I'm going to turn here a little bit. Hopefully the wind doesn't hit the mic. But the first thing was the little block of concrete with the iron hook in it and a chain dangling off of it. Yeah, that's where they kept the bear.
Tony, right?
Tony. Tony the bear. And you may have seen this at some point in some trivia game or something along the way. I know we both recognized it when we read the sign. Tony died from diabetes.
And why did he get diabetes?
Yeah, because one of the things was to go buy a Coke at the store or a soda pop at the store and give it to the bear, because the bear would drink it.
Well, they all smiled. There's a picture of him drinking a bear while the people in the background are smiling. How cute. Yeah.
Although, we're not real sure that's actually why he died.
Because we saw where he gets to hibernate in the winter.
Yeah.
Your St. Bernard has a larger doghouse.
Yeah.
And that's literally, it said that's what they made him to hibernate in the winter.
Yeah. And the other...
Plus, your St. Bernard should be in the house with you, but I'm just saying it was small.
But the other one was the Alligator Pool. Okay, we weren't going to get in that green water to show you just how big, how spacious this alligator pool was. But it's about the size of 2 bathtubs. And probably about as deep. And...
Or smaller. Would you say 4 foot long?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit longer than 4 foot, really? But it was definitely a prime place to keep an alligator.
And they kept him chained there also. Yeah. They chained him there.
In Oklahoma, you know, where it's just always so pleasant of a climate.
And then they had monkeys, and they had an elephant.
They had an elephant barn.
What was the elephant barn before?
Get me lying. It was storage for some grain, I think. It was a grain barn.
And they were like, hey, let's put elephants in here.
Yeah, I'm not real clear on the monkeys, but across the road there was a sign, and it was called the Monkey House.
We're assuming animals, like not human. That, you know, like, or acrobats or something in the Wild West show, which is actually possible.
But I mean, there were some names in that 101 Ranch show. Bill Pickett, Geronimo was actually in that show. I'm sure for a short while. He was a busy man, being stuck down at Fort Sill. Will Rogers wasn't in the show, but I think he actually visited the show a couple of times, and just a bunch of, and there were quite a few names of people that went on to be movie stars back in the 40s. But,
and famous people visited, presidents and actors.
It's an interesting story. I mean, this whole bit with the elephants with Barnum and Bailey here in the recent years has nothing on tied up bears and alligators chained outside under an oak tree.
Right.
Anyway, that was our little walk through history up at Ponca City, Oklahoma. It's kind of interesting. You go to some of these out-of-the-way places and you find some pretty cool stories involved. There's more at Ponca City. You know, Marland, the founder of Conoco, I guess it's Conoco Phillips now, he went on to be a governor in Oklahoma. Big old huge mansion there, and another house there. And then the Pioneer Women's Museum is up there, so a lot of good stuff. My camera's flashing. That means you get to get a break. Subscribe, like, share the video. We will catch you on our next trip.